In a way we can't but here in love, love, right here, love, right here in love. We celebrate every blessing, pulling down every cursing through the music we play and the programs we share right here with love, love. Love 101, right here with love. Love 101, right here with love. Our children can stay.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Well, good morning. Welcome to The Rock. I'm your host, Pastor Steve Blair, Harold Blair Jr., and it's another great week. A lot happening around us. Everybody getting ready for elections. And of course, let me not just say Valentine's. It's really Ash Wednesday coming up tomorrow. And of course, Valentine's. A lot of people looking forward to that big day and how they can spend the day, who they spend it with. Quite a bit to talk about today. It is a big program, and that program, of course, is not Valentine's, it's about love. So, welcome to The Rock. I'm your host, and as we shake the rock, we discuss all sides of a topical issue that may have the church and its congregants thinking, even questioning issues in the Bible, questioning belief systems, questioning doctrines, and all the things happening around us. It is one of those programs that you cannot afford to miss. We also explore those common and not so common biblical subjects that we all are curious about or just want to understand more. We cause believers and unbelievers to reconsider the things they've heard, believed, studied, or read. And of course, that's why this program is here. We really take the time to bring you something of substance. We force churchgoers to consider dialoguing on issues very often glossed over, ignored, or misunderstood on the rock. We do our best to show Christians how we can live according to the Word of God, and that's what makes this program very different. It is not a debate, it's not a dictatorship, it's not anything other than just looking at the Word of God. And we thank you for being a part of this program. A special welcome to our listeners on Facebook and YouTube Live. We thank you for joining us. I call you my Rockites. Thank you for being a part of this program. Thank you for being a part of this discussion. We really want you to continue to be a part of this as you send in your messages, as you send in your voice notes and give us your calls. What can I say to those of you joining us from around the world? Every week I get those calls and those messages from St. Martin and the Virgin Islands, and from Boston, from Detroit, from Florida, from the UK, from New York. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are the reason why we're here. You are the reason why we continue to do this show every week. And I've got to tell you, I really, really appreciate you. Well, it's Love Month, and we're talking about it. You guessed it, love. In fact, we're asking the question, how are you loving? Wow. How are you loving? Let me make you ask some questions today. Is your love enduring, erotic, for self? Is it playful, unconditional, familiar? Is it affectionate or romantic? Or is it all of the above? Yes. How do you express that love? For me, I still open the door for my wife every time She gets in the car. I still do things for her to make her feel special daily. I wonder about you. But before we tackle all of this, let me share with you for the next few minutes a few things on my mind. I was reading last night as I got the report from the road safety unit, and it really shook me up as I read through that report. Obviously, let me just read some things for you. It says um, the incidences this year in 2023, Jamaica recorded 425 road fatalities resulting from 384 fatal collisions. The fatalities represent a 13% decline, while fatal collisions represent a 10% reduction when compared to 2022. Well, as of February 12, 2024, 40 lives have been lost to road crashes. 40 lives. Now, get this. I want you to see this. 36 fatal collisions, 40 lives so far this year. And and then I began to read further. It's decreased by 11%, but I stopped to think today is the 13th. So let's say 44 days in the year and 40 lives have been lost. I know they put a positive spin on this and they say, well, it's down and everybody's happy that it's down so far. But for me, I'm a bit concerned because I'm wondering we've lost 40 lives in 44 days in this country. And I'm still seeing mad driving on the road. I'm still seeing people act like crazy people. And this is going to be the pet peeve for me for the rest of this year because I'm going to force you to tell the taxi driver, force you to tell the person who's parking on the side of the road, force you to tell somebody slow down or stop or let you out because we don't need your life to be lost because of some crazy person on the road. This is very serious. Um, the fatalities for 2024 projected to increase by 2% when expected to 2023. And that's the expectations, but I fully believe when a country makes up its mind, I often say at one point in time in the Cayman Islands, when I was, we had roads where you couldn't drive over 25 miles an hour, but every weekend somebody died. So I'm placing this at the feet of leaders because why did somebody die every weekend? Every weekend somebody got drunk and crashed somewhere or killed somebody. In Jamaica, it doesn't seem to be that problem. It just seems to be a problem of us not making the effort to do the right things, to slow down, to stop breaking lights. Every single day of my life, I see people driving through a red light. Every single day, I see people pulling up to a stop sign and not stopping. So something is wrong with us as a nation. And I'm going to say one more time, whether you're PMP or JLP, this has continued for years. This is a matter of leadership because when people don't have uh, when people are not keeping the rules, then leaders do what they need to do to make sure people keep the rules. I don't know if we need to slow down in Jamaica by changing the speed limits. Sometimes I believe that the highways need to have a higher speed limit. But of course, that's one point of view. I mean, I don't like driving 80 kilometers an hour on a highway on a toll, but if it's going to save lives, then the rules are good for us. Somehow, we've got to find a way to slow our people down, encourage our people to change. How do we change? Leave out earlier, not race to where we're going. Be smarter in what we're doing. Think while we're driving, not just for ourselves, but for others. And this is a big deal, Jamaica. We cannot continue to lose 400 lives every year because of stupidness. We cannot. Nobody should be driving 100 miles an hour. It feels nice, but we should not be driving that fast. No truck should be parked around a corner that we can't see it. And nobody should be parked without their flashers on or something, some lights on, because people are constantly driving into parked vehicles. So that's a big deal for me. Uh, the second thing that I bring up this morning is that I took the time to have a look through the paper, and I see an article here by someone saying Dr. McKay, it seems like. And Dr. McKay was making the point that as a result of Indicom, the police cannot do their jobs strongly. And as a result, gangs and others are more brazen, and there's an increased homicide rate. Now, somehow, um, I don't know the person, but I do want to say that we can't forget the reason for Indicom. Now, police are good and we want them to have more enforcement, but they cannot have a free ride to do as they please. They can't just go and show up and say that they're gonna shoot somebody because he's in a gang. We have a system of law and justice. If we have no need for that system, then put the police out and tell them to do whatever. But we have a need for that system. I've had reports where I passed in Spanish Town, and these are reports from church members, my church members, that tell me of police coming into their communities, um, stalking young people, telling them that they're part of gangs, or, as in a case most recently, going into a home and shooting a young man in front of his child, 6-year-old child. I hugged that little girl on Sunday and I said, I love you. I'll be your father as long as you live. But that young man was a young man making changes in his life. That young man was a young man that decided to take his Bible and read every day. That young man was a young man that decided he was turning his life around and making something of himself. I don't know what he's done in the past, but nothing he's done gives the police the right to go into his house and shoot him and kill him in front of his child when he's sleeping. That's gunmanship, that's gangsterism by the police, and that's why we have Indicom. And Doc, I know you probably write with a good mind, but we've got to stand for justice, and we need people not to stand up like they did when Dudas was being sought after and said that they will die for Dudas. We need parents and others to stand up for justice in communities, declare who the criminals are, the scammers, the murderers, the gangsters, and turn them over to the police. And we do not need the police to come out and commit murder in the name of justice. If they're killing someone in a shootout, that person deserves to get the sentence he gets of death for trying to shoot the police. But if they're at home or wherever they are, the police do not have the right to just go and kill or to plant weapons or to do as they please. So thank God for Indicom. Last weekend I buried the mother of Michael Gale, who worked very hard for the initiation of Indicom many years ago, and she too was gunned down. So I'm very much against the murderers, but I'm also very much against the police doing what they do against the law in every way. The way the police drive, the way the police use their phones when they're driving, the way the police drive without seatbelts, and they tell me, well, they can't do it because of guns and everything else. There's a law, and you are the bearers of the law and the ones that hold up the law as examples of the law. Okay. Um, we've heard about lots of different types of love, from eros love to agape, eros romantic to agape, unconditional love of God. Do you know them by heart? Well, we'll find out today. Have you experienced these loves, these versions of love, or just heard about them? What does the Bible say about the various kinds of love? Post all your comments on this topic today on our Facebook or YouTube pages of The Rock, or sending your WhatsApp messages to 876-295-9141. Sorry, that's my that's my number. Sending your WhatsApp messages to 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Rock. So send in your WhatsApp and your voice notes and your YouTubes and your Facebooks so we can talk about LOVE. I wonder, how did you feel when you fell in love? I asked a question on Sunday. So many marriages falling apart, yet years before, or days before, or weeks before, there was so much love. Talk about love when we come back. This is The Rock. I'm Steve Blair.
February 13 with yours truly, Sarah and the Chirpy One of the Family Station, Love 101.
It's Reggae Month, and the Jamaica Reggae Industry Association, JARIA, presents. And what a glory that will be. Come hear the sounds of Levy's Heritage, Sister Pat, Humble, John Mark Wigan, Berlando Small, Odia Spencer Brown, Nadine Blair, and Perpetual Sounds of Praise. Your MC? Yours truly, Nadine Blair. Reggae Wednesday's Reggae Praise is on Wednesday, February 28th at 6 p.m. at the Festival Marketplace at Kingston Waterfront. The Festival Marketplace is situated near the Kingston Craft Market on Ocean Boulevard, right near the Myers Wharf. Easy to find, and admission is free. So make your plans to come out in your numbers for a night of worship in the key of reggae. What a night, what a glory that will be indeed. Reggae Praise, Wednesday, February 28th at 6 p.m. Festival Marketplace. See you there. A Love 101 endorsed event.
This is a special announcement from Love 101 and Love Television. Our general offices will be closed to the public on Ash Wednesday, Wednesday, February 14, 2024, and will reopen on Thursday, February 15 at 8:30 a.m. Programs and commercials for Wednesday, February 14 and Thursday, February 15 should be submitted by 1 p.m. on Tuesday, February 13, and obituaries and notices by 1:30 p.m. on the same day to ensure scheduling for broadcast. Love 101 and Love TV wish for you and yours a peaceful, prayerful, and productive Ash Wednesday.
Yes, yes, yes. Good morning and welcome to you. Thank you for joining us Once again on the Rock. My name is Harold Blair, and I go by the name Steve to many who knew me while I was growing up. So I still use it, and of course I used it on the in the media around the world, ESPN and BBC, Western Union, World Football Report. Of course, I bring it here to love because this is where we are today, and a very very special show. I have some very special guests. My guests ready to speak about love, Bishop Carl Wisdom and Pastor Christopher Broadbent. They will join me right now, and we're going to discuss the topic. Well, Bishop Carl Wisdom has for at least 20 years served as both a minister of religion and a teacher. He has been there for various levels of education, ranging from primary school to college. He is currently the senior pastor for the Salt Spring New Testament Church of God in Montego Bay. He has been married to his best friend Lisa for at least 24 years, and the last time he counted, he was father to three wonderful children. Pastor Bodber, Christopher Bodber, has been a minister of the gospel for over 25 years, a pastor at four churches in two countries, has ministered widely within the Caribbean. He's an author, a writer, a film and TV producer. He's a passionate speaker and an inspiring teacher. He's a husband and a father of two. Pastor Christopher is an advocate for great things like family and community development. He's also an experienced counselor, and you can find him on the Counselor's Couch, thecounselorscouch.com. Gentlemen, welcome to The Rock.
Hi, how are you doing,
You.
Bishop?
Uh,
Good to be with you
I'm
again.
finding it very hard when I host this program because every time I come on, I say, two of my faves. I want to tell you, Carl, I've been in Montego Bay 8 times since the start of the year, and I keep forgetting that you're down that side. I got to come and look for you one of these days. In fact, I probably need to give you a call after the program. And Pastor,
That
Reverend, yes, and Reverend Brother, welcome, welcome, gentlemen. Two great guys to speak with today. And before we go into the topic of love, of course, I spoke about just two things this morning: um, income, the need for income, and also on the continued. Uh, it just bothers me the continued accidents on our roads and the death of people. So, give me your thoughts as we go further in the program.
yeah, that I can understand, especially the continued accidents. In fact, I got caught up in traffic dropping my child at school because there was an accident on the road, and especially at the place that the accident happened, it just in my mind made absolutely no sense. Um, it's on a long stretch of road, lot of space. I just couldn't see what could have caused the accident that happened, more than just really reckless and very careless kind of driving. Um, or it could be persons falling asleep on the around the wheel. There are a lot of reasons, but there really are some crazy driving on the road. Every time you go on the road, you feel like you enter a battlefield. So the appeal is to drive safely, take it easy on the road. And if you're falling asleep, pull over. Take a five, because really, um, you can't sleep and drive. They say don't drink and drive. I would add don't sleep and drive.
Yes, I agree. I agree. We have some absolute crazy driving, but I also agree with you, Bishop Steve. The reality is that we have to hold individuals accountable at every level, and we really are asking those leaders out there to do something to change things, because it's obvious that we are not able to marshal ourselves and discipline ourselves to stay within speed limits, to use indicators, to not overtake around corners. Something is wrong with us. I mean, I dare say. I mean, we're a blessed country. We know that we're blessed people and so on and so on, but we have some serious challenges. And indiscipline is one of them. You know, unfortunately, and I heard you allude to it, that the indiscipline is not just with our people, it's with our police and it's with our leadership, you know. I see some things happening at the leadership level, and we say, you know, what starts at the head of the stream always flows down. So absolutely, we need more discipline, more order. Again, as you would recall, I was in the UK recently, as I still move around a lot, and it's a marked difference. I mean, you have crazy driving everywhere, but the kind of crazy driving that's here stands out. You know, everybody's in a rush and everybody's a bad man. So even if you say, I mean, I heard you mention that you're gonna encourage people to call them out. But everybody's a bad man. So when you tell the taxi driver you can't stop in the middle of the road to let out people in the middle of the road, you know, you expect expletives and badness, you know, thuggery coming at you when you're telling him what to do, you know, instructing him to pull over, let the people out safely, and so on. So discipline for sure has vanished from our system, and it only comes back by leadership, demonstrating discipline and enforcing laws. Indicom, I agree, Indicom is necessary, but I do understand the police are under a lot of pressure. High adrenaline, high stress creates, you know, kind of some mayhem. And sometimes for them, I know they feel like they're in a war zone. So they're living like they're at war. So we have to have the right help for them, you know, whether it's counseling, whether it is good time off and, you know, paid leave with some vacation facility. You know, our hotels probably can jump in and donate some good space and time to get them refreshed and revived so that they can come back out feel encouraged and not feel like they're always at war. So something has to happen there. Indicom is a necessity, but we understand that the police are absolutely stressed and they need some help urgently.
Yes, we only have 2 minutes. The issue regarding Indicom, any thoughts? Where the person wrote that it's creating more bad than good.
Well, if I might jump back in, that I don't think that is creating more bad than good. I mean, regulation is an imperative. You know, I think Indicom is absolutely necessary, absolutely necessary. But as I say, the police are charged with, you know, charged, no pun intended, charged with maintaining law and order within an indisciplined society. And I've seen the police and I've heard from them. They are stressed, absolutely stressed, because the approach is that they will solve our social problems, that the police is charged to solve all our social problems. And they can't do it. They've been trying to do it. They can't do it. The whole structure has to contribute, you know, all the different sectors, you know, need to contribute to solving our social challenges as a people. So the police are stressed. And yes, it means Indicom plays an important role in trying to maintain, keep the police being lawful themselves as they try to do the job.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining in this part of the program. I do want to say to Jamaica that, you know, the point I made regarding leadership is an extremely important one. If you have a home and you have somebody in your house doing as they please and you have your rules, then you have the option of strengthening your rules or getting that person out of the house. Jamaica, we've got to come together and strengthen our rules, not just from the head, but within, and make sure that we go forward together with a like-mindedness to create change for our future. We'll be right back after this break. This is The Rock. I'm your host, Harold Blair. We'll be back.
it's not over.
Listen to words of upliftment in Something More with Bishop Harold Blair, brought to you by the Faith Cathedral Deliverance Center.
And he cried out to God. Have you been there? Have you been there when it seems as if you've been left all alone and no one cares for you? No one gives to you a word of comfort or consolation. But as you lift up your eyes to the hills from whence cometh your help, the Lord heard your cry.
That's Something More with Bishop Harold Blair. Something More comes to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9:30 a.m. here on the family station, Love 101.
It's not over till it's over. It ain't over yet. Oh, it's not over.
Get ready for another worship-filled time inside Love in the Morning with me, your host, Jakal Dyer, this Ash Wednesday, Valentine's Day, and Love 101's 31st anniversary, February 14. Grab your cup of coffee and start the day right with the Morning Coffee Pick Me Up devotional. Join us and let's talk about why we stopped to celebrate Ash Wednesday. Also, let's share some love with our loved ones this Valentine's Day. Send us a WhatsApp message at 876-997-3125 and let us help you share the love to your loved ones. 9:30 a.m. we wrap things up with Something More, brought to you by the Faith Cathedral.
It's alright, just well, if you want buy appliances for your home with the quality high and the price low, get it on Habashco. Get it on Habashco. Bashco. Be everything where you need. Bash quality service guaranteed and Habashco. Bashco that gives you more. Yeah, Bashco. Get furniture for your house, then linen everything for your kitchen, rocks, knobs, and more at Bashco. The store that gives you more. Bashco.
February is a month of love, and on the next Campus Connection, we'll be focusing on love and relationships. Part 1. Is having an intimate relationship at Valentine's a priority for our young men? How can they deal with relationship issues in a seemingly toxic environment? What should young people do to develop and maintain positive relationships with the opposite sex? Let's hear from Ronaldo Ross, SCFSU, John Mark Wigan, Music Minister, Kareem Campbell, Digital Marketer, and Roger Dawkins, Youth Leader, as we delve into these issues on Tuesday, February 13 at 5:30 p.m. on the family station, Love 101.
Put your hands together. The Randy Williams Entertainment Center comes live this Friday, February 16 with young reggae ambassadors in Kingston. When some of reggae's emerging stars take to the stage. That's Young Reggae Ambassadors in Kingston. Randy Williams Entertainment Center, Friday, February 16, 8 p.m. Admission free. Another Reggae Month 2024 event.
Welcome back to The Rock. Welcome back. This is Love 101. I'm your host, Pastor Harold Blair Jr., and it's just so much going on today. Yes, it's called LIFE, Life, and with life, there's got to be some room for LOVE, love. We're talking about love today, how you handle your love. But before that, I just want to remind you, if you have a topic that you'd like to discuss on this program, or you'd like to be a guest on the program, please don't hesitate to write to us at transformjamaica@hotmail.com. That's transformjamaica@hotmail.com. Or you can send your messages to or call in at Love, and you can also call me at 876-295-9141. That's 876-295-9141. So just want you to be a part of the program, not just a listener. And remember, you can also call into this program at any time this morning, especially after 11. And that phone call can come in to our studios. It is a very important thing whether you call or send in your WhatsApp messages. So your WhatsApp messages come to 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. You can send your message or your voice note, or you can call in to 876-968-8327, 968-8328. So we thank you for joining us. Let's go into our topic. Check Google and you can get different results in terms of the amount of types of love we have. Today, we'll try to get through as many as those that are found in the Bible. We're looking at the topic, how are you loving? And joining me once again to speak about this topic are our very special guest today, Reverend Christopher Broadber and Pastor Carl Wisdom, two wonderful gentlemen. So gentlemen, Kathy, my producer, brings me a love program with two guys, and you know we don't get the female perspective. Maybe I need to call Kathy and say, Kathy, come on the program. So I'll start with you. I'll start with you, Pastor Carl. If you're there, the whole topic on love is a big one. Everybody in the world. I mean, I'm taking my little 6-year-old nephew home the other day, and he says, you know, I have a girlfriend, Uncle. I have a girlfriend. So even from the young ages to the very old ages, the word love never escapes. Let's talk about it. And before we look at the topic, how are you loving? Let's look at what love is. Give me your perspective, starting with you, Pastor Carl.
All right. Yeah, you know, love is one of those words that, you know, 4-letter words that give a lot of trouble and carry so many shades of meanings for different people. But I think the simplest version of love, the simplest definition of love is acceptance. The acceptance of another person. And total acceptance, unconditional acceptance is the kind of love that says that I love you in spite or despite of. It's not I love you because I accept you for you. And it also carries the idea, especially from a biblical point of view, that if I love you, what I want for you is what is best for you, and what I give towards you is what I consider to be the utmost best for you. I know there are several words to capture love, and in English, unfortunately, we use the one word love to express all of them. But within scripture and within ancient language, there wasn't just one word to capture love. But the true basic word for love is acceptance of another person. I don't know.
Yes?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to go into the various types of love at this point, right. but there would have been basically four Greek word for love, or 8 Greek word, eros, which is sexual passionate love. I think what is missing from eros for most people's definition is that eros is beyond sexual. It is a deep attraction for a person that is almost a once in a lifetime kind of attraction. And it kind of what the Western world talk about falling in love. It has to be distinguished from libido, which is just raw sexual attraction. And I think a lot of persons mix up libido with eros, because eros is a deep connection to a person of the opposite sex, which draws them into almost kind of an exclusive relationship, that this is the person you want to be with on every level. Then we have phileo, which is found very much in the Bible, which is a deep friendship. It's called brotherly love, and it is a friendship that goes to the point of almost family, where a person becomes family to you, but is not family by blood. So that kind of friendship, sorry, that kind of friendship is what the Bible said. There's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. Better a friend who is near than a brother who is far away. So Phileo talks about a friendship kind of bona fide. It's actually kind of friendship that was described between Jonathan and David. They had a deep bond that they were almost like family, and that's a deep kind of friendship. Lead playful love, not as deep as Eros, but is again is between man and woman, where there is kind of a playfulness towards each other. Pragma is kind of a long-standing love that develops after knowing each other for a period of time, comes from familiarity. Sterge, I love you because we're family, we're blood. It is a kind of love that, because we are related by blood, it comes from that kind of bond. And phileo it is love of self. One loves themselves, and mania is acid mania, kind of crazy, obsessive love to the point of destruction, which I wonder if we can even describe as love. It's just an obsessive kind of stalk you, kind of obsession with someone.
The more I hear you speak, is the more I look strongly at this thing called the English language.
Yes, very limited.
because you're speaking about Greek having so many forms,
right,
of one word in the English language. Pastor Broadwell, Reverend Broadwell, this must drive us English-speaking people crazy when we say. That's why some people say they don't know what love is.
Right. There's a funny thing about language. Language creates perspective, and it empowers behaviors. So there's a particular word for it, can't recall right now, but so there's a lifestyle that the Greeks would live, and like we think of the French and the idea that it's a romantic culture, the Italians and so on, and I guess our limitations with English, it creates a kind of behavior and culture with regard to love, and the idea of love. It's, I guess, a little more simplistic for us, and probably for the Greeks, having so many words and having, it's a part of their language, right? It's not just academic, it's their society. So when they're talking about eros and philia and mania and ludus, it's all a part of their culture and their behavior and their day-to-day experience. While we say love and we throw it around quite casually, it's a different thing for them, and so it shows up in your culture and in our daily walk. But if I can speak a little bit to this idea of love, love is a unique thing indeed. We at marriages, we tend to go through the 1 Corinthians 13 thing and so on, reading all of that. But 1 John 4:8, God himself is love. So the idea, all of these different perspectives on love, it's elements of who God is, exposed to us. We tend to associate only agape with God, but we understand that there is this element of eros too. Jesus loved the church, husbands love your wives as Christ loved the church. There are different elements of love even shown in God and from God. So we do have to understand love as a God thing, and where it is missing, God is missing. And again, to go back to some of the things that you spoke about earlier with regard to what's happening in Jamaica and Indicom and all of that. The truth is that absence of the God thing, love, creating chaos in our society. And if we can have love, genuine love, not just kind of casual idea that me like you, me not like you, but this commitment to whether it is philia, the brotherly, deep friendship love, as Bishop Carl mentioned, or genuine eros, which is true, intimate, romantic love, and understanding that if these things are working properly in our society, then guess what?
Yes.
We have a better people.
Okay, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna take our first break during the interview, and we'll be right back as we take this break and come back to talk more about love and how are you loving. Big things are going. We'll be right back.
Get ready for another inspiring show. This Testimony Tuesday inside Alive, 1 to 5, February 13. Packed with inspirational stories and Allen flavored music. 1:45, we bring you the brain testing Menticize Listener Speak Edition. Stick around for prayer blast at 2 o'clock as we ring in the prayer bells of heaven. 2:15 inside the evidence, we hear the powerful testimony of Sheena Lynn Hanson from Sheena Power Talk, who struggled with immoral behaviors and alcohol, but God transformed her by His grace. Listen, this is a can't miss testimony. At 3 p.m., we go behind the pulpit with the anointed woman of God, Pastor Madge Boyd. All the time will come alive 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., February 13, with yours truly, Sarah and the Trophy One of the family station, Love 101.
We doing business better business. So no be easy, you have to set up a business. Though you not have contacts and big links to get your business out. Talk about business better business. No be easy, you have to set up a business. So you not have contacts and big links to get your business out. Talk about Jamaica business made pay. One single window for cross-border trade. Construction permit, real estate. More convenience, less red tape. With application portal than 9, so you now fit and up in a long line. That's business faster, improved process. That means smarter, that means no stress.
Visit JamaicaBusinessReforms.com to learn how we are building better business together. Sponsored by JAMPRO and the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce.
You're invited to listen to Dollars and Cents every Thursday at 8:16 a.m. We'll give you tips on how to make your money count, how to save, and how to grow your wealth. It's all inside Dollars and Cents, brought to you by BPM Financial Limited, taking you higher. That's Dollars and Cents every Thursday at 8:16 a.m. on the family station, Love 101.
Drivers, when you see a stop sign or a red light, it's important to bring your vehicle to a complete stop, even if you think no other vehicles are coming. Don't break the red light. I am DJ Rebirth of Love 101 FM, the family station, and we're reminding you to take time drive.
It's Reggae Month, and the Jamaica Reggae Industry Association, JARIA, presents Reggae Praise Wednesday, February 28th at 6 p.m. And what a glory that will be. Come hear the sounds of Levis Heritage, Sister Pat Humble, John Mark Wigan, Orlando Small, Odia Spencer Brown, Nadine Blair, and Perpetual Sounds of Praise. Your MC? Yours truly, Nadine Blair. Reggae Wednesday's Reggae Praise is on Wednesday, February 28th at 6 p.m. at the Festival Marketplace at Kingston Waterfront. The Festival Marketplace is situated near the Kingston Craft Market on Ocean Boulevard, right near the... So make your plans to come out in your numbers for a night of worship in the key of reggae. What a night, what a glory that will be indeed. Reggae Praise, Wednesday, February 28th at 6 p.m. Festival Marketplace. See you there. A Love 101 endorsed event.
Welcome back. Welcome back. I want to bring back in our special guest right away because over the next 10 minutes, I want to speak about the love of God. I know the show is about how are you loving. So we'll spend that last 45 minutes or so to an hour looking at that. But how do we look at this love of God? How can we use that as an example for how we should love before we look at how we're loving? Gentlemen. Good,
Okay.
Carl.
I think Reverend Christopher kind of started on that line. Because true love, the true example of love is God Himself. And if we understand God's love, then we begin to understand how we ought to love. So we look at agape, but there are scriptures that actually talk about phileo regarding God, sterge regarding God. But agape is what is considered the broad brush. And actually in every command that God says love, He uses agape. He doesn't use the other. Even for husbands to love their wives is agape or agapeo that is used. So He doesn't command eros. He doesn't command sterge. He doesn't command these other loves. He command agape, which is to accept the other person, not because of. So phileo, eros, sterge, all of these other love, mania, all of them are based on something that the other person brings to the table. Agape is just because you are, then I love you. And because you are, I accept you, I treat you as I would treat myself, I treat you as I would treat anybody else. So it is not I love you because it's not based on a particular condition that I'm going to give you this acceptance. It is this acceptance. I'm seeking your best at all times, in spite of. So that's why God could say, "Love your enemies." Um, agape or your enemies, not because of what they bring to the table, but because they are human beings. And the motive and the motivation of love that is given by God is that all men are created in His image, and our response to others are based on the fact that they are created in God's image, and as a result, they are worthy to be treated with a sense of acceptance and a sense of reaching out for what is best for them. So if that is our basis, and that's where we start, then simply being another person is going to mean that I automatically am going to treat you in a particular way. And it would have gone and said, love, you can't love God without loving the image of God in others. So you can't say you love God, you, and then go around and at the same time
Hate
say
somebody.
now that you hate somebody, because that person is created in the image of God, and in hating that person, you are actually hating God.
Sometimes I wonder about Jamaica because we stand out as a bad-minded people sometimes within when you look within. Others from outside like the way we smile and how we live and everything else, but within we obia, we starve, we kill, we malice, we back chat, we do everything, and the bad mind attitude is a way of life. But to look at God and how God loves us is definitely a way, Christopher, to determine what love is, because God don't backbite us. God don't badmine us.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
gives us
Um,
opportunity.
yeah, yeah. But thanks, Bishop, for the he's really laid it out very well. Absolutely well said. And the agape love, you have to ask, is it attainable while we're in human form on this broken world? It's difficult to love your enemies. I don't know if you've ever gotten box on one cheek yet. I don't know if anybody ever slapped you on one cheek. The idea of turn the other cheek is not easy. Especially in a Jamaican setting. But it is the call. It is the call on us to love unconditionally and to love completely, despite what the other person is bringing to the table. And it's like that to lay out something that is very very lofty. For us, it's a high water mark. It's something that we all must shoot for. But let's be real about Jamaica, though. When we compare our society as against others around the world, and not that I've been to every country, surely not, or I mean specifically of every culture. But as it is said, Jamaicans generally we have two poles. We swing between two poles, where we're very warm people. We have Bishop Blair, people come here and they fall in love with Jamaica.
Yes.
Because we chill like that. We laugh easy. We will give you our last breadfruit. We'll roast it and give it to you. Because we're like that. We can chill like that. The world knows it. They fall in love with us easily. But then we have the other side. If you step on our clocks, what happened? Hell and powder house. We lose it. We can become so aggressive so easily. They say we're an aggressive people, even though we're warm and kind and compassionate people. It seems something happens. I once heard somebody say we have a Jekyll and Hyde mentality as Jamaicans. We swing between the two: warm and nice, aggressive and violent. And somehow we have to get back to the place of maintaining things to the warm and nice, and not just the warm and nice to the visitors, to the tourists, to those who are non-Jamaicans. We have to, probably it's because of our anthem. We have a wonderful anthem, that speaks of Jamaica land we love, Jamaica, Jamaica. We love Jamaica, but guess what's not in there? Jamaicans we love. We love the land, we love the rivers, we love the sea, we love the mountains, we love the beauty of our country. But probably we should have talked in Jamaicans we love, so that we might have some demonstration of love for each other. So we have an ideal, something to shoot for, and we as Christian leaders primarily have a responsibility to somehow maneuver to help to enlighten others on the issue of the importance of enduring love, enduring and suffering and still loving through it. It's not easy. It's absolutely not easy. Again, I struggle with different things. I'm driving on the road and the taxi man bad drive me, and and I have to be careful. The road rage. But love is the optimal watermark that we all should shoot for. God's type of love.
When we come back from the break, we'll look at Luke chapter 6. It's a big chapter for me because I did preach on love this weekend, I touched on Proverbs 6 and Luke 6. So we'll talk about that. But we're going to the break right now, and this break is brought to you this hour. Coming up after this break is brought to you by Government of Jamaica through JAMPRO and the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. Jamaica is building a better business together. We're making it easier to do business in Jamaica by implementing new systems and processes to increase productivity and grow our economy. Visit www.jamaicabusinessreforms.com to learn how to make better business work for you. This is The Rock. We'll be right back.
You're tuned to Love 101 FM, the family station, and the time in love, it's 11 o'clock. This hour is brought to you by the government of Jamaica through JAMPRO and the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. Jamaica is building better business together.
Doing business in Jamaica is now better than ever. Thanks to feedback from you, we're cutting through the red tape and introducing digital, world-class systems to build a better environment to help your business thrive. Whatever you do, wherever you are, we're making doing business faster, simpler, better together.
Visit JamaicaBusinessReforms.com to learn how we are building better business together. Sponsored by JAMPRO and the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce.
This is a special announcement from Love 101 and Love Television. Our general offices will be closed to the public on Ash Wednesday, February 14, 2024, and will reopen on Thursday, February 15 at 8:30 a.m. Programs and commercials for Wednesday, February 14 and Thursday, February 15 should be submitted by 1 p.m. on Tuesday, February 13, and obituaries and notices by 1:30 p.m. on the same day to ensure scheduling for broadcast. Love 101 and Love TV wish for you and yours a peaceful, prayerful, and productive Ash Wednesday.
February is a month of love, and on the next Campus Connection, we'll be focusing on love and relationships. Part 1. Is having an intimate relationship at Valentine's a priority for our young men? How can they deal with relationship issues in a seemingly toxic environment? What should young people do to develop and maintain positive relationships with the opposite sex? Let's hear from Ronaldo Ross, SCFSU, John Mark Wigan, Music Minister, Kareem Campbell, Digital Marketer, and Roger Dawkins, Youth Leader, as we delve into these issues on Tuesday, February 13 at 5:30 p.m. on the family station, Love 101.
It's Reggae Month, and the Jamaica Reggae Industry Association, JARIA, presents Reggae Praise Wednesday, February 28 at 6 p.m. And what a glory that will be. Come hear the sounds of Levis Heritage, Sister Pat, Humble, John Mark Wigan, Orlando Small, Odia Spencer Brown, Nadine Blair, and Perpetual Sounds of Praise. Your MC? Yours truly, Nadine Blair. Reggae Wednesday's Reggae Praise is on Wednesday, February 28 at 6 p.m. at the Festival Marketplace at Kingston Waterfront. The Festival Marketplace is situated near the Kingston Craft Market on Ocean Boulevard, right near the Myers Wharf. Easy to find, and admission is free. So make your plans to come out in your numbers for a night of worship in the key of reggae. What a night, what a glory that will be indeed. Reggae Praise, Wednesday, February 28 at 6 p.m. Festival Marketplace. See you there. A Love 101 endorsed event.
Doing business in Jamaica is now better than ever. Thanks to feedback from you, we're cutting through the red tape and introducing digital, world-class systems to build a better environment to help your business thrive. Whatever you do, wherever you are, we're making doing business faster, simpler, better together.
Visit JamaicaBusinessReforms.com to learn how we are building better business together. Sponsored by JAMPRO and the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce.
Welcome back to The Rock. Yes, can you love like God's love, and how are you loving? I wonder. I'm gonna take the time to go very quickly back to our guest because I do want to get back into that topic. Let me see if there's anything being said by any of our people. Oh, there's just all good mornings. Good morning. Hello, Kevar. Hello, Marva. Welcome to The Rock. Thank you for joining us as always. Hello, Miss Alvarine, and all of you around the Caribbean and the world. Welcome to The Rock this morning. Gentlemen, I want to get into my producer's theme, but before I jump there, I really want to look more about the specifics of the character that describe the love of God. Certainly, certainly we see something about him, you know, as we all quote John 3:16, for God so loved the world he gave his son. And let me see if I can find what I said when I wrote that, because I find it very difficult for people not to see the greatness of this love. So I quoted John 3:16 this week, and I said, for God so loved the world he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. And how does the love of God jump out to us? Because the son was killed for our sins, he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. And despite all that happened to that son, the Father still loved us. This is a remarkable love, Pastor Carl, that we see, a forgiving love, a crazy love that God gives to us.
Yes, definitely. Jesus would have said that it's this kind of love that will identify us with him. This is the kind of love that will make people see that we are his disciples. There's a kind of love that says, despite what happens, I'm going to go for that which is important for you. I'm going to do that which it takes to express that love, that kind of acceptance, that kind of looking for that which is best, you know. And I think that you can't get away from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, that I think summarizes really what love is about. Patience, the kind, the forgiving. That's what God demonstrates. And in fact, I believe that the persons who translated the Bible to English use the word charity. It was the same Greek word, agapeo, but they recognized that they probably had to use a different word than love to say this specific kind of love, which is the same word that is used for God so loved the world that he gave. Love is not something that is self-seeking. It's not something that is self-gratifying. Love is basically about the other person. It's not something that is selfish in any way. It's a love don't seek for itself. Love actually seek for the other person. And Jesus said it's easy to love those who love you back. It's easy to accept those who accept you. But that's not the Father's love. That is just a natural return of that which was invested.
Even sinners love you back, you know. I mean,
yeah.
if they can love you back, what's the difference?
Right. But to be considered God's child, to be considered a child of God, truly born again, you love those who don't love you. That is really the measure of really do you love? When that which is done to you doesn't affect that which you do to others. That is genuine and real. And I think that the greatest expression of that love that the Bible even uses is a mother's love for her child. Is it greater than the husband-wife love for a parent to a child? That child can do almost anything. You find that a child be a criminal, a murderer, but the mother's love for that child doesn't change. And God said, even if that change, that's not, his love goes beyond that. Even if your father should forsake you, the love of the Lord goes beyond anything that can break it. That God is always reaching out, always seeking to restore, always seeking that which is for absolute best. So if that becomes the foundation, if that kind of love becomes the foundation of all our relationships, I would definitely see this world being a better world, this nation being a better nation. I like what Yes, I like what my co-guest said, that it probably should have been included in the national anthem about loving not just the land, but loving the people of the land.
Yeah. Pastor Chris, the whole thought of love is always a big deal. In the church, we can't escape the discussion on love without going to 1 Corinthians 13.
Correct,
It obviously really, really, really gives us a lesson. I mean, obviously I mentioned Luke 6 because Jesus tells us to love our enemies. But beyond that, Paul in 1 Corinthians 13 talks about the essence of what this love is.
Like the word holy, 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 holy or holiness, we struggle with it. Love is a word we really struggle with understanding. But if we go back in terms of the fundamentals of the concept being communicated to humanity by God, the issue is bigger than we often give it credit for. What God is trying to do when he tells us about love and loving is he's trying to give us something critical to happiness, something critical to social order, something critical to understanding him. So if we don't understand LOVE in the English, right? LOVE, we can't understand the divine. We can't understand God. Just like if we can't understand HOLY, we can't understand God. When God put Adam and Eve in the garden, when he created humanity, the species, the thing, the wondrous masterpiece of his triune being, it survives via LOVE. The context of it, surviving and thriving, is LOVE. The Garden of Eden is an expression of LOVE. The fruits thereof, the accompaniment, in Genesis 2:18, it says, it is not good that the man should be alone. God says that. And he said, what is causing God to think that? LOVE. And he wants man to experience LOVE, as expressed in terms of companionship, all of the different dynamics that we're spelling out about the Greek essence of love, family, brotherly love, romantic love, playful love, all of that. God's idea is, it's not good for the dude to stay alone. He needs to experience eros, storge, philia, mania, ludus. He needs to experience all of these things as part of the fruit of existence. So not only does he get the pear and the apple and the breadfruit and the pineapple to experience God's love, God also wants him to experience companionship and everything there. And so what we're talking about here is something fundamental to human fulfillment, sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. So it's a big deal. Love is a huge deal. People talk about the Valentine's Day and why me not celebrate Valentine's Day, because look, any opportunity to look back at love and do expressions of love is a good thing. I know I'm going on a little bit, but it's a big deal. It's a huge deal, the idea of love. And it would be good for us if I could say to your listeners, the Rockites, for all the Rockites, to if you take anything away from today's program, I would encourage you to take this. The idea that you train yourself better to love. And you train yourself beyond just, I'm going to give a Valentine's Day gift. Yeah, do that. But train yourself to try to turn the other cheek. Train yourself. Because as was said, as Bishop Carl was saying, this is the ideal. If we can do this and we can love each other in this real way, we change the world. But it takes practice. If you now be conscious that I am going to chase this high ideal, and I'm going to say, I will love despite what you do me. And it doesn't mean I'm going to be stupid, right? But I'm going to endeavor to show compassion where you are broken, where you are challenged. I'm going to make it an exercise of mine This is something I'm going to exercise myself toward. Kindness, despite hostility shown to me. Thinking positively about others, despite what they said to me. Complimenting others, despite whatever they've done to me. I'm still going to choose to compliment you. That's a nice pair of shoes you have on. And as the Bible says, you're going to create some problems in the head initially, because they say, I know you may just thief the money from. Oh, you mean me have a nice pair of shoes on and I dress well? But you're changing the spirit of the situation, the context, just with that. So if we could purposely chase down the kind of love that turns the other cheek, we're going to change Jamaica. We change our environment. A Bible school teacher once said to me, and it blew my mind. He said, we were all in the class and we were giving some trouble. And, he said something, Bible school, right? Giving trouble. But, this is in the 90s. I was, give me a break. I was a young man at the time. And we were giving some trouble in the class. And he said, you know what? No matter what you guys do to me, it will never change how I feel about you. That was about 1994. It has never left me. No matter what you guys do to me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change how I feel about you. If we could adopt that, no matter what the neighbor do to me or say about me, it won't change how I feel about them. This is a good exercise to try to practice, guys. Jesus meant it when he said, turn the other cheek. He was laying out something, not just for you to look like a fool and, look tough to your lady. That's not what he was trying to accomplish, that you look soft. You look like a beta man, not an alpha male, right? What he's after is your experiencing the abundant life. And you're creating a healthy society. And you're pushing back against the darkness, not spreading darkness, but spreading light. And light is spread through demonstration of love.
Okay, you know what? I totally forgot that this hour belongs to our new sponsor for this hour. So we got to go to a quick break and come right back, because I do want to talk about the patience of love, the thoughts of love, the bearing of love when we come back, and then wrap up later on with the 5 love languages. So the person in studio should have taken you guys off already. So maybe they're not in studio. So yes, we go to the break. We'll be right back.
This hour is brought to you by the Government of Jamaica through JAMPRO and the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. Jamaica is building better businesses together.
Doing business in Jamaica is now better than ever. Thanks to feedback from you, we're cutting through the red tape and introducing digital world-class systems to build a better environment to help your business thrive. Whatever you do, wherever you are, we're making doing business faster, simpler, better together.
Visit JamaicaBusinessReforms.com to learn how we are building better business together. Sponsored by JAMPRO and the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce.
Put your hands together. The Randy Williams Entertainment Center comes alive this Friday, February 16 with young reggae ambassadors in Kingston. When some of reggae's emerging stars take to the stage. That's Young Reggae Ambassadors in Kingston. Randy Williams Entertainment Center, Friday, February 16, 8 p.m. Admission free. Another Reggae Month 2024 event.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Get ready for another inspiring showless testimony Tuesday inside Alive 1 to 5 February 13. Packed with inspirational stories and Allen flavored music. 1:45 we bring you the brain testing Menticize Listener Speak Edition. Stick around for prayer blast at 2 o'clock as we ring in the prayer bells of heaven. 2:15 inside the evidence. We hear the powerful testimony of Sheena Lynn Hanson from Sheena Power Talk, who struggled with immoral behaviors and alcohol, but God transformed her by His grace. Listen, this is a can't miss testimony. At 3 p.m., we go behind the pulpit with the anointed woman of God, Pastor Madge Boyd. All the Jamo will come alive 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. February 13 with yours truly, Sarah and the trophy one of the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back. How are you loving? What are your thoughts on love? Put your thoughts on our WhatsApp, 876-997-3125. And of course, I do want to hear from you, Rockites. I have some thoughts on love that I'm going to express at the very end of the program as I give you another piece of my mind. But of course, the Word of God doesn't change. It says here in 1 Corinthians 13 that you can be over righteous, bestow all your goods to feed the poor, give your body to be burned. But if you have no love, it doesn't profit you. It says, love suffereth long, is kind, it envieth not, it vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, it does not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not our own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Gentlemen, I found myself using a line several years ago in my marriage, and it worked for me because I based it off my character, and I said to my wife, I know you're upset, because she expressed her anger regarding something several times, and I said, I meant you no evil. And that just calmed everything down. And it came from this verse. It means no evil, and what a difference it makes when people can love without having evil intentions. Like, I continue to remember the person here in Portmore who was taken by her sister and cemented into a wall. Family love gone awry right here in Jamaica. So we have a few minutes to wrap up on the 1 Corinthians 13. Any comments regarding the patience, the believing, the thoughts, the hopes of love, the endurance of love?
Yeah. Again, one of the things that Jesus said that I really like, he said, and he quoted, "What is the greatest command? To love the Lord with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength." I like the Greek word a little bit better for strength. Actually, mean muchness, with everything, that with every fiber of your being, as the single greatest commandment. But Jesus said it equal to the first, or like the first. The second is like the first, is equal to the first. In other words, the first is the basis, but the second, the first cannot be completed without the second, which is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And one of the issues, I believe, is that if we begin to, we have to love ourselves, but that's important. And a lot of times what we hate in others is actually what we hate about ourselves. What we say we can't stand in others, if you look in the mirror, is really what we cannot accept for ourselves. We find it very difficult to accept in others. So it is important that we understand that the statement love is love is patient, love is kind. It not only tells us what love is, it also tells us what love is. Love
It's not.
is not impatient. So if you're being
Mhm.
impatient, that's not love. Love is kind. If you're being mean, you can't love somebody and don't give. For God so loved the world that He gave. Love, and it tells us all these things that love is. And if we begin to see what we don't like from others and even from ourselves, we begin to see the kind of behavior that is desired. But I also wanted to put this in. Love is something that is a choice. It's not a feeling so much, but is a training yourself to respond, not merely out of feeling. And I think the world has reduced love to feeling and affection. It is a part of it and a large part of it, but love is choosing to behave in a particular way that is in line with, first of all, God. Secondly, in line with what we would desire for ourselves. We don't like anybody to rail at us. We don't like anybody to lie. We don't like people criticizing. And if we don't want it, then we should not give it. So a lot of times people will say, I never had a choice. But the truth is, the greatest thing about being a human being is that we get to choose. We are not driven simply by raw desire. We're not driven by feelings. We have the ability to choose how we respond, even sometimes how we feel and what we say.
You cannot be afraid to tell people the truth. Feelings
No.
don't run the thing. You know, I can never understand how people say I love you today and fall out of love tomorrow. I don't believe in the fall out of love theory. You know, it's either you love or you don't love or you don't know love. But once the feelings come into it, it's a rough thing. One of the things that you said that jumped at me, that made me want to come in about 5 minutes ago, was that the way I learn to love people is by loving myself. And in loving myself, I realize I'm short on a few things. I fail in a few areas. I'm not perfect in much. So therefore, as I love myself and appreciate who I am, being honest with myself, being humble, I realize that the person standing in front of me is not perfect, is falling short, and is going through the same issues, maybe different issues that I've got to learn to appreciate. But the thing is, if I have to love that person, I have to look at myself first and say, boy, Steve, you're not all that, you know. So why should you demand all that from somebody else? You know, so we have to learn to appreciate people for who they are, accept them for who they are, and love them despite our shortnesses or failures, or little things here and there, and allow. Sometimes people fail to understand that love is communicating also. So I'm going to communicate and say, well, boy, Carl, you know, I don't like the way you do this, you know. But others of us won't say that. They just say, no, man, I can't bother with Carl because Carl did this. And that is where the whole thing comes from. I'm really trying to take my breaks today, guys. So I don't normally take these breaks because I want to keep running, but I'm thankful for the sponsor that came on for this hour. So let's just remind our listeners today that we do have a sponsor, sponsored by Government of Jamaica through JAMPRO and the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. Jamaica is building a better business together. We're making it easier to do business in Jamaica by implementing new systems and processes to increase productivity and grow our economy. Visit www.jamaicabusinessreforms.com. That's jamaicabusinessreforms.com to learn how to make better business work for you. We'll be right back here on The Rock.
Doing business in Jamaica is now better than ever. Thanks to feedback from you, we're cutting through the red tape and introducing digital world-class systems to build a better environment to help your business thrive. Whatever you do, wherever you are, we're making doing business faster, simpler, better together.
Visit JamaicaBusinessReforms.com to learn how we are building better business together. Sponsored by Jamper and the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce.
Love 101 invites you to listen to the local government debates this Thursday, February 15 at 9 p.m. And immediately after the debates, listen for Encounter with the Praise Deliverance Ministry this Thursday, February 15, immediately after the local government debates, right here on the family station, Love 101.
Yes, welcome back. It's your love show on Love. Yes. Love FM, we've been around. You've loved us for all these years. And of course, we want to make your love life better with this program today. How are you loving? Are you loving like God, or are you loving like man? Are you loving like a child of God, or are you loving like the world? Well, the world loves you because you look nice and sweet. And my wife doesn't like to hear when I use the word sexy to other people. So I'm not talking about other people, I'm talking about her today. Whoa, gentlemen, welcome back. How are you loving? We've looked at the need for patience and the need for those things. I learned a lesson several years ago, and I've never been one afraid to share with Jamaica that this is now my second marriage. And it wasn't easy coming out of the first, and it wasn't easy. Never even thought about getting married the second time. But one day in this marriage, my wife looks at me and says to me, "You love me the way you want to love me, and not the way I want to be loved." Bam! Shock!
Oh yeah.
Shock and awe.
Yeah.
And like, what are you saying to me? She goes, we had taken the time to read the book, The 5 Love Languages, and she called me out. And I'm like, oh my God, you're preaching to the preacher. I don't know if you guys know anything much about the book, The 5 Love Languages. So let me just give it a quick read. We all give and receive love in 5 different ways. The writer says words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. Of course, I was giving her things that never meant anything much to her. I gave her because I just thought giving would just make her feel good. And she goes, awesome. Talk to me, gentlemen. How are we loving? We can love, yes, the Bible has taught us to learn to love our enemies and to be patient and kind, to turn the cheek, to be smart. As I was looking back over this book this morning, these things jumped out at me.
Yeah. So that's what you've said is very important. Now we're specific. We're focusing on the issue of the romantic dynamic. Yes, it has other applications too, but if I think you're focusing specifically on relationship, and romantic relationships. And yes, the 5 love languages. The book was written popular, way after it was written, and it's been around, and it's been a very useful tool for couples to have. It is something we have to learn because we can only draw from references that we have. So if I think that giving gifts, this is what I would like. I would like to get gifts as an expression of your love for me, and therefore I do what I know. So it is something that I have to learn, that what you require to feel appreciated. So it doesn't come easily, it doesn't come naturally. It has to be learned because I'm coming from my perspective, my experience, my inadequacies, my desires. And so you have to study your partner and try to figure out, okay, what is her love language? And the writer, as you said, Bishop Harrow, that words of affirmation, that's the things said, those good compliments, those words of, I love you, I appreciate you, you're the best, the best thing that ever happened to me. Those things are needed by our partners at times. That's what they need. It may not be what you need to hear. You don't need, and sometimes, you keep on telling me nice things. Yeah, man, enough of that. But they may need to hear it from you, even though you don't need it to hear it from them. Acts of service. I'll wash up the dishes. I'll cook the meal. I'll clean the house. I'll put the gas in the car. Those things that she appreciates that you might not appreciate. You might not want her doing these things for you, but she might want you doing those things for her. Receiving of gifts. Some people don't like, I don't need all this stuff. Why are you buying me this stuff? I don't want you to buy me stuff. I would like your time. Stay with me more. Talk with me more. Just be present. You like to receive things, and then you feel love. Like, oh, here come, she bought me a new phone. He bought me a new chain, and you feel loved by receiving this. But then your partner may not need that. They may want your time. That's the next one. Quality time. So make sure you're spending that time if that is what the person needs. You may not need it, they may need it. So figure them out. The last one is, as you said, Bishop Hero, physical touch. The pat on the head, the rub on the back can be very powerful. You may not need it. You might don't like anybody mess with your hair, your hairstyle. You spend a lot of money on creating the hairstyle. So he mustn't touch it. She mustn't touch it. But for him, it means everything to him when you just rub his head, where you pat his back, or for her, rubbing her foot. She stands on her feet for a long time. Maybe that she requires a foot massage. So yeah, these are the 5 love languages, and we do have to take time to train ourselves to look for what is needed by a partner.
Yes, Pastor Wisdom.
That's a very good summary, and counselors use that book a lot, and it's a book that I think every married couple should have. It echoes actually 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 7. It said, likewise, your husbands dwell with them, that's the wife, according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel. Not getting into the weaker vessel part, but the idea of really, in order to show love, you have to know the person. In order to, and the 5 love language, there's another book that talks about the 5 love language for kids, how to love your children, because they also speak a particular love language. So if we look at even the patterns in the Bible and how different husbands relate to wives, you will see that there were those who brought gifts. There were those who, if you go to Songs of Solomon, the words, both of them are using words. The love language of touch was also there. The love language of service. So of course, quality time is also present. So to truly love somebody, you really have to get to know them. And when persons broad brush love and expressions of love, Valentine, buy a gift for the special someone, when in fact, like was said before, a gift might be meaningless to some persons. I know my love language is not gift. If I can't use it, I don't need it. That's my if you can buy me something, make sure I can use it to do something else. To put it down to look at, say, oh, this person give me, I probably don't remember who give me unless it is labeled. So we have got to get to know the person. The songwriter said, take time to know her. We have to get to know persons in order to really love. And knowledge is key. You cannot love properly without knowledge. And the Bible says that when you have that knowledge, you dwell with somebody according to knowledge, you can give them honor. And
let's build on the path of wisdom. Let's build on that part, because as we talk about relationships and love, it seems to me that men and women want love, but in different ways.
Yes.
So can we build on that knowledge? Maybe I could ask you what a woman is looking for. Ask Pastor Chris what a man might be looking for. in terms of love?
Okay. Again, another very common book in terms of counseling for premarital and marital counseling is His Needs, Her Needs.
And men are from Mars and women are from Venus.
Men are from Mars, women are from Jupiter. The whole thing is it's still talk about knowledge. It's really trying to find out about the other person, and for the majority of persons, and I've run this experiment myself, for them to list what they really want. And sometimes it's just a good exercise to just ask them what they really want. There are 5 things that come out, and I leave Reverend Christopher to deal with the men, but 5 things that come across that women really want from men. And the top is affection. And again, affection is spoken in the 5 love language. It's just that of saying, I love you. It's not just spoken. It is how we communicate, whether by touch, whether by act of service, whether quality time. Women want to have affection. They want to have security. They want to know financially things are secure. Sometimes we can just rough it out, but a man's job, and I'm going to say this, and a lot of people are going to probably go to see with it, but it's a man's job to make sure that the family is financially secure, and women are looking for that. So
even when they're working.
Even when they're working. And you find that successful women look for successful men. They don't want a man to come and depend on them. And regardless of how things stay, there are some change. There are some things that remain the same. Women want good family men who are will help with the raising of children. I was told once that one of the attractive thing was a father playing with his child. When I heard that, I just called my child, "Come, let's play." So, because women like men who are good fathers, who help the homework, play with the child, spend time with the child. Women also want in their men commitment and honesty. Women, more than men, can be brutally honest. And one of the reasons they are so honest is that they are looking for that. I learned this in a hard way. My wife asked me how she looked. I didn't think that which she had on at the time was, I didn't think it looked good. But I said, "No, it looked fine." And she went out, and one of her best friends looked and said, "How could you leave the house in that?" And she came back to me and she said, "How do I really look?" And I learned from that lesson. Be honest. Want the truth. Don't be brutal, but be honest. And commitment. If a man is committed, where a woman knows she don't have to worry about other women with you. You have her 100. She have you 100%. You're not looking for anybody else. You are not looking at anybody else. You don't see them. You're just not going after them. You're not looking. You're not indulging that she can be confident that here's somebody who, regardless of what comes, is going to remain faithful. Those are the top 5 needs.
Well, I hear you. And I can still hear my wife saying to me, "How do I look?" and I'm saying, "You look fine." Just to know, be honest with me, be honest, tell me, I don't feel fine. I say, "All right." And I have to look and then give her an answer. She said, "I thought you told me I was fine." But one of the things I like about what you said, which you didn't go deep into, was another situation I faced, which was, I'm here providing, I'm here giving time, I'm here giving affection, and then it's like she want me around all the time. So I have to ask her one day, "Am I your security guard? Am I your security guard? I must be here to do nothing." Yes. I'm saying, let's put it the better way. They want quality time. They don't
Yes.
want you giving time to everybody, and they can't get the time they deserve as the number one. In fact, I don't call my wife the first lady; I call her the only lady. So she
Hey.
getting all the time. Your time, brother Broadwell.
I've heard us mention some books. His Needs, Her Needs. Men Are from Mars, Women from Venus. I'd like to mention a couple of my books that's available on Amazon too. So You Want to Be a Wife, Husband Lives Matter, and So You Want to Marry Her, Wives Lives Matter. And that actually is those books very easy to read. Um, Easy to make your way through. Talk about this thing of what women want and what men want. So it's a his and hers set of books that come together. Right. So a study was done, and it found that the things that women need, you can go to a couple thousand things. Sometimes women are a little more complex to understand than men. And they say men need about three things, women about 300 generally, because we are simple. Men are very simple, right? I narrow it down to if we get the concept, we can win if we work with this concept. I had to do a presentation on the art of attractiveness, and one of the summaries that I gave regarding women and the summary regarding men is that for women, as Bishop Wisdom said, that women need a sense of security. It's an imperative. They need that sense of security. And if you can project that and represent, something safe, because even what you just said, Bishop Blair, that your wife said that she wants you around, it's a sense of security. If your physical presence or your financial ability, it's always this idea of security. But for the guys now, in essence, what we need is this sense of supportiveness, that they're there, a ride or die, that guys want a woman that they feel will be loyal, will be committed to them and stick through thick or thin, be there, have their back. That's what a guy is looking for. So the women have to project that I am going to be faithful, I'm going to be loyal, I'll be there, I'll be your ride or die. Whatever you're going through, I'll be there to go through with you. And that's what a guy finds appealing and attractive about a woman. And so, we have scenarios where you do have somebody dating, look, they're together for a while, but they're not going to the next level. Sometimes it's the guy hasn't found that she's answering that. He likes how she looks, how she presents herself generally, but he's not sure that she's a ride or die type of thing. And so if we understand it just from those two fundamentals, the women are looking for security, sense of security. Men looking for a sense of support, and not financial support, but that you're there, you have my back. Anything happen, I get sick, you're going to be there to give me the chicken soup and nurse me back to health so I can go out. Some boil it down to men just need that sense of respect. Show me that you respect me, that you honor me, because of our ego. Men have an ego, it's a real thing. And we want to feel like the knight in shining armor. As I say, we want to feel like the hero, even though sometimes we are the zero. You want to make us feel like a hero. And that's what we have need of. You respect. Make him feel like he is the king. Make him feel like he's the best thing since sliced bread, even though he may not be. And you'll have his heart.
It was just yesterday I listened to on Sunday, I listened to two ladies speaking. They were speaking about fashion and how they love to look at how other women dress. And of course, that's always evident with the way women look at women. Then they turned to me and they said to me, men feel that it's only them one have ego. And I said, why do you say that? Because they said, because y'all don't see the need for us to really, really dress. But we don't dress for you. We have egos too. All right, gentlemen, we're in the last minutes of the program. I'd like to do the next 5 minutes before you give your raps on loving children. That's another big issue for me, being back here and seeing how we relate differently as men and women to children. But we do it all in the name of love, and sometimes that love is exasperated, is just totally unusual. How do we need to love our children? And what is that concept of even tough love with our children? Carl.
Right. You know, the first of all, I find a lot of persons really misuse the Bible when it comes to children, in relationships in general. But the Bible says something. It says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right," kind of thing. And a lot of persons don't go to the part where it says, "Fathers, grow your children in the fear and nurture of the Lord." He said, "Father, do not provoke your children to wrath, but grow them up with respect and nurture." Those are two words. And when Christopher brought out the whole thing of the need for respect, the Bible is saying respect your children and nurture them, teach them respect by the way we showed them respect. The only way to really teach a child love is being nurturing and being respectful. And tough love still comes with respect. The Bible said, don't embitter them, don't provoke them to hatred and to anger. And as a teacher, I see a lot of hate portrayed from some of our children, a lot of hate. And I teach at at a school where most of the challenge students come, and the way they speak, especially, and I may come off really harsh here on men, but the way they speak, especially of their father, with the absence of their father, or the harshness of their father. And sometimes we're taught that, the man must be tough, he must be a brute, it must be the disciplinarian. But discipline has nothing to do with being a brute. Discipline is something that is demonstrated. You want respect. The easiest way to get respect is to give it. The easiest way to teach respect is to give it. And we have to demonstrate 1 Corinthians 13 to our children as well. It's not a husband-wife chapter. It's just a chapter on relationships, and it does not negate the way we deal with our children. I will say quickly that my father became my best friend. He was a disciplinarian, but he was always respectful. He demonstrated love. And as I grew, there was a part of me that feared him, but fearful respect. There are certain things I just wouldn't do around him. But then I find now that out of that respect for him is a person whose advice I take as gold above everybody else. And it is because of that respectful manner in which he raised us, showing respect to others as well as showing us that kind of respect, listening, spending time with us. Sometimes person asks him, "Mother's alive?" I say yes, and love her dearly. But the camaraderie, the friendship, the knowing how to be a man, is something I learned from my father.
Chris?
Yeah, I agree. And it immediately it says that, for all the gentlemen listening, you have a critical part to play, especially if your fathers are ready, to create a healthy society. Because we do have a difficulty that we face when the children are broken, and they're hurting, and don't know what fatherhood, what it looks like, what a proper father looks like, feels like. They don't know how to do it themselves when they become fathers, and when they become parents generally. We have a lot of broken men trying to father boys, broken women trying to mother girls and mother boys. And it's not a good cycle, because hurt people hurt people, or hurting people hurt people, right? And so this for is, again, the gospel is so important. because the issue of forgiveness and healing and reconciliation is such an imperative in order to stop the expanse of the darkness and the division and the hatred and the breakdown. Something has to be there to heal.
All right. So
family, not what they do. The cross is about forgiving and healing family and healing relationships. So more specifically in loving Dren, it's important that we look at Proverbs 22 verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old he will not depart from it. The idea of parenting is a responsibility to train, and to understand that your child is not. Now I know what you just said, best friend. It's their child, and they have a responsibility to train them. It doesn't mean, again, coarse, harsh, brutal behavior. That's not training. That's abuse. That's not training. You have to be able to train, demonstrating it. Like even a football coach may show. You don't want a coach who can't kick a ball. A football coach who don't know how to kick the ball, don't know how to pass it and control it. He has to be able to, have some track record of performance himself. In the same way, daddies have to show what is, what must be done, how to handle a situation, how to speak to somebody.
Okay.
I'm
gonna. I see Chris is breaking up. I'm gonna ask you to just give us a wrap, gentlemen. We have 2 minutes, 3 minutes left on the program. So
in the chat
I'm not
and in
Chris, I'm not sure if you're hearing me. Are you hearing me, Carl?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I'm hearing.
All right, so Chris has broken up. Just give me, okay, he's back. So give me your 1 minute wrap up, and then Chris, we go to your 1 minute wrap as we get ready to close the show. Give me your thoughts, love, and what you have to say to the nation about how we love.
I think what I want to leave with persons is that your relationship and understanding of God matters when it comes to love, and love is more than emotion. It's an affection. It is something that we choose based on God's requirement, based on also what we desire for ourselves, and it is the foundation of respect. Is a foundation of forgiveness, patience, and basically accepting a person not for who they not for how they make you feel, but rather accepting the fact that they are a person created in the image of God and therefore are deserving of your respect, your acceptance. And despite and in spite of what they do, you treat them with a level of respect that comes from the dignity of being in the creation, the image of the Almighty God.
All right. Thank you very much. We've lost Pastor Chris. He seems to be coming back on. Pastor Chris, give us your 45 seconds. Right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So love is an imperative for us. I think if we take away from this show today, from The Rock, the imperative of practicing love on a day-to-day basis, and then not just leaving it up in the ether and it's a nice concept, but trying to live it, it will benefit us. And at the end of our lives, we will say we've had a fulfilling journey. Without love, at the end of your life, you cannot say you've had a fulfilling journey. And God wants us to have a fulfilling journey through this experience of life on earth. And it can be had if we pursue and practice love.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Valerie Farquharson says, good morning, my bishop and panel and fellows. We can show love as children of God who have encountered the love of God. The way we do it is to be that love to give to a hurting world. Love covers a multitude of sins. It is said that hurting people hurt people, but God's love to us is our commission for a hurting world. Give love, give love. I want to say as I continue to encourage Jamaica, Jamaica is a great place, but if we could move more towards what love is, we would be better parents. Encourage our parents, stop shouting at the children, stop threatening them, and just go ahead and love as God loves you. God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you so much for listening to The Rock, brought to you by this hour, brought to you by the government of Jamaica through JAMPRO and the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. Jamaica is building better businesses together.
Doing business in Jamaica is now better than ever. Thanks to feedback from you, we're cutting through the red tape and introducing digital world-class systems to build a better environment to help your business thrive. Whatever you do, wherever you are, we're making doing business faster, simpler, better together.
Visit JamaicaBusinessReforms.com to learn how we are building better business together. Sponsored by JAMPRO and the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce.
Sign up the JN Money Card. It's